So Gunjita, you have, let me see, you are from Bhopal.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Bhopal has emerged as the seat of textiles and culture and food and of course literature, dramatics. Why? What is the reason of Bhopal emerging as a seat of culture?
So I think one of the major reasons is the centrality of Bhopal as geographically in India. Uh,
Can I make a counterpoint?
yes, sir.
Why not Neemach or Jabalpur or Jhansi or Nagpur?
So it has also been,
It is bang in the center, as you know.
yeah, because of the centrality, there have been a lot of different rulers from Ashoka to Raja Bhoj to the Marathas who have come in and ruled the place. And because of that, it gets the diversity of culture that it gets.
How do you then compare Delhi by that logic from the times of Mahabharata to the times of LG and CM? You have so many kinds of people, and Delhi is anything if, well, it's one of the more uncultured places. So, how do you explain that?
Sir, I believe Delhi has its own unique heritage as well.
It can only be called unique, yeah.
So I think both the cities are unique in themselves and they stand by their uh, own cultural
Okay, let me put it
heritage.
differently. If I went to Bhopal and I asked you, what do I look forward to seeing in Bhopal by way of culture, literature, textiles, etc., what would you recommend?
So first of all, I would recommend going around the circle of Bhimbetka, which is the
Okay, tell me
Paleolithic and
about
Mesolithic.
Bhimbetka and then tell me about Bagh.
So Bhimbetka is a cultural site nearby, around 60 kilometers from Bhopal, which
Cultural, archaeological,
cultural and archaeological site from Paleolithic, Mesolithic. It has a paintings from Paleolithic till I think the time of
Neolithic,
6th
and
century.
till
Neolithic.
recently.
Till
actually,
recently.
Till recently. What is the difference in the paints over these various periods? There's a typical thing about what paints were used.
Sir, I do not remember the word, but initially the paint was made out of natural paints. It used what we in Hindi call geroa, but over a later time, limestone came to use. Different colors could be seen. Red color, vegetable extracts were also used.
Is there any structure out there which is made of wood? Throughout Bhimbetka?
Sir, I don't remember. From my experience, it is caves, and the paintings are on the caves only.
It's none.
It's none.
Just pure rock caves.
Yes.
Right? What about Bagh?
So bark paintings are also in Madhya Pradesh, and they represent paintings similar to what Bhimbetka has, but the century that bark comes from, I think it is around the Guptas.
It's much later.
It's much
Much
later.
later. That's why it's not so famous as
famous.
Bhimbetka. Tell me, Morena, Bhind, all this Chambal, very infamous area. There was a certain ethos to the place during the 1940s, 50s, 60s. What happened after that? Why did it suddenly become so peaceful? Or is it still peaceful?
So it has definitely become more peaceful than
So
what
what
it
happened
was.
in between? What caused this change from the Chambal ke Dakuon ki dharti to now?
Sir, I believe the efforts made by the state governments and the police administration.
There was one man responsible for it. Who was it?
Sir, I'll have to read
Acharya
upon it.
Vinoba Bhave
Acharya Vinoba Bhave.
started it, right? And he brought lots of. क्या था उनका? Started off as
Bhudan movement.
but he did a lot for getting the dacoits to give up arms. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, on a very different track, you are a BTech,
No, sir. BCom honors.
BCom honors, I beg your pardon, BCom honors. Have you heard of Chat GPT? Well, who hasn't?
Yes.
So tell me, you would be all your education of 3 years plus and all your experience would come to nothing if I told Mr. Chat GPT that here is a full company's profile, here is the account, everything. Just tell me by the evening what does this company mean. Everything would be out, isn't it? Let me stretch the ludicrous argument further. I give the data to Mr. Chat GPT and it can make my budget for the country, no? Right or wrong, and justify.
Sir, I think technology definitely has a lot of potential, but it cannot replace the human potential and the human intelligence per se. ChatGPT has definitely come out as a technology which can supplement the human efforts. It can help us bridge. It can help us bring automation and bridge the gaps between the rhetoric work. But for example, a country's budget, uh, it would derive its numbers from the previous experiences. But there could have been an emergency like COVID, where maybe we need to allocate more amount to healthcare, and that only we as humans can understand and not a technology. So I think it definitely supplements a lot of efforts, and it can be used as a great tool to reduce the human workload, extra human workload, but it cannot replace humans.
Let me put it to you, the very short point is that being an AI tool, being a robotics tool, it only gives you what it receives as input. It can't become better than the input. Unless in some distant future, the machines are able to predict their future. They go by an MBO kind of a thing. They first try to figure out what they intend to do and then they change the data in reverse. So that's a very horrific thing. But point is, input rules the output. That is the important thing. So unless, as you rightly said, COVID, there may be other instances. You suddenly decide that right now we require to send more aid to Turkey, or we intend to push more ships into the Indian Ocean. That is not having a preceding data, right? So absolutely right, but you can fine tune your answer. Since you are not prepared, let me ask you something very different. Have you heard of PERT and CPM as methods?
Could you repeat, sir?
PERT chart.
No, sir, I'm not aware.
PERT charts, horizontal bars, the works which you have to do, critical path method.
No, sir.
No? Alright, no matter. Okay, tell me, there has been some news of, okay, Honorable Prime Minister gave the first, my dear countrymen, and Notbandi ho gayi. His second address to the nation was about a scientific achievement. When the Indian, DRDO had prepared something with which we shot down our own satellite.
Yes, sir.
Now, what was so important about that event? We fire missiles all the time, air-to-air missiles, surface-to-air missiles, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So, what was unique about this particular achievement?
So it was an anti-satellite machine, anti-satellite strike that we did, and India was only the fourth country to be able to do it.
Yes, that's right.
In the
But
world.
what is unique about this?
I think the significance of the event lies in showcasing our abilities as a nation, that we can that it can be seen as a hint to other nations that we can.
Wait.
Okay.
Even Sri Lanka, even some terrorists sitting in Afghanistan, all these Al Qaeda kind of people and Taliban kind of people, they have those Stinger missiles. They can fire it at some aerial object and they can shoot it down. What is different from that scenario to what we did? If you don't know, no problem. We move on.
Yeah.
Please.
So, last general questions. So, who's your role model?
My role model, I think I'll have to give a female only.
I don't know.
No, you can say Milan Soman, it's fine.
No, my role model is Sir Parmeshwaran Iyer, who is like the current CEO of Niti Aayog.
Who's the?
Current CEO of Niti Aayog.
Okay. Tell me more about him. Yes.
Okay, so he is an ex-IAS officer who led the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and he has had he also wrote his book called Method in the Madness, which I read, and the way he led the Swachh Bharat, he had also worked in World Bank, so the way he led his the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and brought in the whole behavioral campaign is something that.
So, what do you remember from that? Tell me two important things that you understood as a future bureaucrat.
Okay. So, from the book.
Overall, after,
okay.
you know.
So, one of the core ideas that he gives is any bureaucrat, when he wants to achieve something, there will always be a resistance from the community itself or from the bureaucracy itself. And he said that we need to develop a core team, a people of 4 to 5 people who believe and understand your vision. So the role of teamwork and providing leadership to that teamwork is very important. And the second was that we need to believe in people. For example, the behavioral campaign also, you need to, if you send across the idea very correctly, people will support you in bringing a policy change. So these are the two ideas.
Okay, very good. So if you don't get through UPSC, what is your plan B?
So ma'am, currently I am doing a post-graduation from Indian School of Public Policy, Delhi. So if I do not get through civil services, I will be pursuing a career in public policy.
Okay. And so where are you staying in Delhi?
I am staying in horse cars.
Okay. Alone?
With a flat, like with a scholar from the college itself.
Okay. So what is your experience? Do you find Delhi safe as a woman?
For particularly one section, the women, there are still...
your experience, I'm talking about...
My experience more or less has been mixed. There have been days and experiences where I have also got help from people when I was not expecting it, for example in the late nights. But there have also been instances in metro stations, in cabs, where I have experienced not so good
So what do you think as an administrator things can be done to improve the level of safety for women, in Delhi especially?
Ma'am, I think a lot is already being done in the form of giving women coaches, but I think vigilance during night can be increased more.
Okay. Any more points?
Also, a level of trust from the end of police administration, like gender sensitization, would really help the women to step out. And as more women start stepping out, a confidence can be built in the society where even the mischievers will tend to withdraw.
Okay. Okay. So I'm seeing two hobbies here. One is watching tennis tournament and the other one is meditation. So what got you started with meditation?
Ma'am, it was my preparation only, where after like the first attempt I felt that I needed to understand, I needed to keep myself more calm. So I joined Vipassana meditation course, and from there I did a 10-day course, and we had to go there without phones. We had to sit down there and do meditation. I learnt meditation there, uh, the Anapana meditation technique, and from there on I have been continuously doing it, because it helps. I think it helps me understand and process my day well, to prepare for the next day, and to keep myself calm during adverse situations.
Okay. And what about tennis? Do you play also or just watch?
I have been watching recently. I intend to play, but I haven't really gotten the opportunity to play as of yet.
Okay. So why only tennis? Why not football or cricket?
I do watch cricket also sometimes, but tennis has been something which I particularly started following a player, Novak Djokovic, in 2017-18, and he was one of the, when we all were hearing the names of Roger Federer, he was one of the player who came up and won the Grand Slams continuously, and that really inspired me. And I really enjoy the game because it is a solo sport and it takes in a lot of intensity and effort. So I like to see how the players are going through the emotions and how they are fighting their own battles on the court.
Okay. So will you be knowing the 4 Grand Slams and what kind of court?
Yes, ma'am, I'm aware. Okay, so in a calendar year, the Grand Slams start with an Australian Open. Then the court there is the normal hard court. Yes, ma'am. Then there's a French Open which has a clay court. Then Wimbledon happens, which has a grass court, and the year ends with US Open, which again has a hard court surface.
Okay, Gunjita,
Yes, sir.
you are from Morena.
Yes, sir. My parents belong to Morena.
ये मुरैना का मतलब क्या होता है?
Sir,
अच्छा, भोपाल का मतलब क्या होता है? भोपाल शब्द कहाँ से आता है?
Sir, Bhopal word is comes from Raja Bhoj, who was the founder of the city.
ये ठीक है. Can you tell 3 features of the Gujarat model of development? नाम सुना है उसका?
Sir, I'm aware. I'll take a try.
हाँ.
So, firstly, it is based on a cooperative model, if I'm right.
Gujarat model of development is based on cooperative model. So what are the two?
So, the development model which is like known after 2010.
हाँ, so what is the Gujarat model? What is the ethos? The 3 things which they do in Gujarat model, which they are telling other states also to do now.
Sir, I'm not completely aware about that.
Okay, so just read about it. Basically, they are saying that infrastructure should be there and policy should be there.
Okay.
Yeah, continuity should be there in policy, right? So that's where they are able to. Okay, can you tell me, you have been in placement committee.
Yes, sir.
So you find a group of school dropouts. What would you tell them about placement? What kind of placement they should look forward to?
Sir, firstly, I'll understand their background and which particular years have they dropped out and what are the skills that they possess. Based on their skills, I would recommend them.
They say we are dropouts, no skills.
So particularly which class, which standard, like
Before 8th.
Before 8th.
Yeah, before 8th or before 10th they have dropped out. You have
Sir,
been in NSS also.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what would you recommend to them? What to do?
Sir, I'd first recommend them to go for some vocation and not go for placement, rather go for some vocation and try to complete their education first. And if in case they are not able to do that, I would recommend them going for a vocation and developing a skill first,
Yeah, which is the skill ecosystem in India? Have you heard of the skill? What is it? Which are the main players in the skill ecosystem which has been developed?
So the handloom industry,
Okay.
the textile industry,
Have you heard of National Skill Development
corporation. Yes, sir.
Corporation and the skill sector councils?
Yes, sir. They try to develop the soft skills, the computer skills of
Can you name a
students.
couple of skill sector councils? Have you heard of any skill sector councils?
No, sir, I'm not aware.
Like there's the healthcare sector skill sector council, or automotive or construction skill sector council, or this agriculture skill sector council.
Okay, sir.
So they should do some skill course, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, and then come for placement.
Okay.
Whatever they want to do.
Okay.
Okay, you are fond of meditation, so Vipassana. What was the main contribution of Lord Buddha to meditation? He had a very significant observation, which they use in Vipassana also. What is it? Okay, what do you do in Vipassana?
We focus on the intake and outtake of breath and
Yeah. So what do they teach you?
to focus on the present moment.
So when you are focusing on the breath, the thought disappears. You cannot think and breathe together. Right? So that's what Lord Buddha said. That if you focus on breath, the thought will disappear, it will die. And if you allow the thoughts to emerge and die, all your past karma, it will emerge as thought and die. So you will become free of your past karmas. You continue to focus on your breath, you will always be in the present moment, and through your thoughts, your karmas will die.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, okay, tell me one more thing. You have had something to do with Institute for Higher Education.
Yes, sir.
Now, there was a survey on higher education. Okay. Are you aware? All India
Survey on
Higher Education Survey?
Yes, sir.
So, what is the number of graduates India produces? Some idea?
Sir, I cannot recall
It
the
is
number.
4 crore graduates.
4 crore. 40 million, yes.
What percentage out of these are engineering graduates? Some idea? Or what number or percent? What's the number of engineering graduates every year in India?
Sir, I have not read upon it.
About 40 lakhs.
Okay.
And art graduates?
Approximately, sir, I'm not aware.
1/3 of them are art graduates.
Okay. Out of the 4 crore.
Yeah, 1/3 are art graduates. Commerce are about 38 lakh are commerce graduates. Anyway, so I thought this is very interesting, something which can be explored. Anyway, my last question. If you have been in NSS, let's say you get into service. So which are 2 sevas you would like to do, which you feel burning inside? कि मुझे ये करना है.
So one of the sevas would be the Shramdan Seva, because I had done that during my college also, and doing something which is not a part of your duty, but rather you do it to attain that satisfaction.
No, I'm not saying you do it after you got into service. 2 changes you want to bring.
Sir, one of them would be in the education sector per se, where I really think that pre-childhood care and education can be developed in India, specifically using the Anganwadi model. And the second, because I come from Madhya Pradesh, I really want to do for the maternal health of tribal women and increase their institutional births and their standard of living in the tribal districts of Madhya Pradesh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell me about yourself. अपना एक introduction दीजिए आप briefly.
So my name is GUNJITA. I come from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. I have done my graduation BCom honors from Bhopal itself. Currently, I am pursuing a course in Public Policy Design and Management from Indian School of Public Policy, New Delhi. I have interest in sports. I have also played various sports in my life, and my focus in policy sectors include education and urbanization.
What is meditation?
So, if I would define meditation as a practice in which you observe your breath and try to calm yourself down and understand the importance of mindfulness and present moment.
How is meditation different from self-hypnosis, relaxation, thinking, concentration?
Sir, in meditation, you're trying to make an active effort towards noticing your breath and taking away all the thoughts that you have. Whereas in the other methods like self-hypnosis, you are trying to forcefully get into an alter world to, I think these are forms of unconscious relaxation, whereas meditation is a form of subconscious relaxation. So a consciousness is involved.
What is the best time of day to meditate?
Sir, I think it depends upon the individual. For me personally, it is the mornings when I wake up so that I can understand what I have gone through the past day and to plan my day better for.
मेडिटेशन से आपकी लाइफ में क्या चेंजेस हुए?
Sir, I have been able to control the anxiousness that I had earlier. Also, I have become more confident in dealing with situations.
क्वाड को अमेरिका मिलिट्री ब्लॉक बनाना चाहता है, इंडिया एग्री क्यों नहीं है?
Sir, if Quad is seen as a military bloc, we could have resistance and we could also spoil our relationships with our neighbor, because from both the ends of our borders, we have hostile neighbors. And if we make it as a military unit, it can go against the national interest of the country.
इंडियन सोसाइटी अपने हेरिटेज को लेके इनडेफिनेट एटीट्यूड क्यों प्रदर्शित करती है?
So, indifferent attitude.
इंडियन सोसाइटी हेरिटेज को लेके.
Sir, I think the older generations are still connected to the heritage, but the younger generation, due to modernization, has a disconnect and they are not really aware about the importance of the various heritage sites and the various heritage culture that we have. So it is about because of the lack of awareness.
Why you want to become an IAS?
So it was during my college years that I had joined a national service scheme and been able to contribute to the society and visit the villages in the society. While it was also a dream, and I had been seeing various officers making a very big impact through a small signature. So I think the impact and the ability to contribute has motivated me to join the service.
How dowry can be controlled?
So definitely there should be a two-side approach. One, stringently the law should be applied in every case where dowry happens, and secondly, there should be a sensitization about its illegality in India, because it's still a norm, it's still a cultural norm in India, and people are not aware that because they do not fear the law enough as of now. So awareness about how the people who are taking dowry and giving dowry are being punished can help control it in future.
Thank you.
We are through. You tell. The sigh of relief is so audible. I didn't know we were troubling you that much.
No,
But
sir, you
how
were
do
very
you-
cordial.
See, keep this attitude even in the main interview. You are completely unprepared, that's what you are
Yes,
saying,
sir.
and yet you are able to engage us in a conversation, right?
Yes.
So, I hope this gives you the self-confidence and composure to address the main interview. So you tell me how you have fared.
So apart from the factual questions that sir asked, and apart from the knowledge base, I think I was able to communicate what I was thinking.
The only thing is, see, knowledge base, of course, you will fill up.
Yes, I
Just
need
brush up your current affairs, particularly current affairs.
Yes.
I found somewhere that perspectives were a little mixed up.
Okay.
So my suggestion is, when is your interview, by the way?
So 13th March. I just got it.
You have a month plus.
Yes. Can I get the pen and the paper?
आप इस दरमियान you have newspapers, right?
Yes, sir.
Newspaper में पहला दूसरा, I mean, of course you'll read the headlines. The central page having the editorials and the international and economic side, finance and economy. Please read that. The second, third, fourth page are, nobody is interested at the national level कि ट्रक ने किसी को 4 किलोमीटर घसीटा है, 15 किलोमीटर घसीटा है. Fine.
Okay.
Please, and I'm not being callous, I'm being factual here, matter of fact here. Please develop perspectives. Anything which happens which has a larger purpose, please go into the depth of it. Any visits which the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable External Affairs Minister, okay, any important conference such as NSA, Mr. Doval have gone to attend anything, please read those news items in depth, not just कि गए हैं वहाँ से वहाँ चले गए और वापस आ गए. No, why have they gone? All right?
Yes, sir.
Read on your tab or on your laptop, computer, whatever, you can read the central page.
Yes.
Please focus on the central page. Otherwise, a good library, no harm. Just go to the editorials. When you are talking, when you know that you can talk for 5 minutes, we don't want to hear you for 5 minutes. We want to hear you whether you are able to give the best part of your reply in 15-20 seconds. Speaking for 2 hours is not the art. Making it crisp for 1 minute is an art. Okay? So on random topics, please prepare some 50 questions, 100 questions, 100 topics, and then frame your opinions about it and how best, which part of the issue you can throw back in 15 seconds.
Okay.
That is the most important part. You can take permission, may I have a little time, right? And think which is the best part of the answer which I should give first, then second, then third. 3-4 points.
Sir, I couldn't get that ESAT one, what I had to reply.
Simple. That technologies are very different.
Okay.
You see, the missile, when a missile is fired at something, it's like that thing is stationary and you are stationary. One is that air gun thing, bursting a balloon in a mela. The second is an aircraft is flying and you shoot the missile. The missile tip traces the heat signature of the effluent gases of the jet or the aeroplane.
Yes, sir.
So wherever the jet will go, this will keep going. Which is why the fighter jet deploys flares. You know that? You must have seen some films. They deploy some other burst, so it goes and bursts there. Otherwise, if it keeps going, the jet keeps flying, the missile will keep following till the fuel runs out.
Okay.
What has happened here is it's some 300 kilometers into the aerospace, into the outer stratosphere.
Outer space, yes.
So what's happening there? There's no air, there's no heat signature, nothing. The satellite is rotating around something and it is coming to a precise location and you are shooting from 300 kilometers away. So the time taken from here to there, your missile to reach, and the time taken for the satellite, the calculations have to be very precise. If they are a microsecond away, the satellite will go away and your you have failed.
Failed attempt.
So that is the difference. You understood? Please go back and please read
Yes, I'll do that.
to understand the technology and the immense precision involved.
So I'd also like to ask, like this ASAT technology was an event that happened in 2019, I think.
19, I think, yeah.
So how, like what is the extent of reading? Because this is an event that happened in 2019 and remembering the technology.
It doesn't matter. It's something unique.
Okay.
It's like India testing its nuclear
Weapon, yeah.
explosion.
Yes.
So you have either arrived or you have not arrived.
Not right.
You yourself said that we are the fourth power.
Country, huh?
Why is it important?
Yes.
It means that tomorrow we have the technology to shoot down an enemy satellite. From whether China or Korea or anybody who's not in our national interest, we have the technology. Abao, Pangilelo. So that is why
Symbolism.
the world should take us seriously.
Yes.
Right?
I'll do that.